Naturia, known as Naturu in the Japanese and Korean version, is an earth archetype from Duel Terminal. Naturia monsters are composed of various types, but all of them are related to forest life, much like Sylvan, albeit different, such as plants, insects, rocks, a few beasts, and even a dragon. Their effects center around limiting, or gaining advantages from, the opponent's spell, trap, and monster cards when activated/summoned. Despite their low ATK and DEF, if built correctly, Naturia monsters can be surprisingly quick and control the field easily. Almost all Naturia monsters have effects that can be activated to respond at any action your opponent may commits, thus this deck's main strategy always revolves around control or even stun-esque approach. In fact, their main synchro monsters, except Naturia Leodrake, have effects that can negate the activation of specific card types, spell/trap/effect monster, further reinforcing the control aspect. Naturia Bamboo Shoot, in particular, can completely blocks your opponent from activating any spell/trap card, if tribute summoned by tributing Naturia monster, thus becoming center focus in most Naturia-based decks. Besides Bamboo Shoot, there are also Naturia monsters whose effects reacts to your opponent's action regarding their monster, like Naturia Mantis, can destroy monsters the moment it is normal summoned. Naturia Horneedle, can destroy monsters upon being special summoned. Naturia ANTJAW, can special summon Naturia monsters each time your opponent special summons, and Naturia Pumpkin, special summon another Naturia monster if your opponent has a monster. For defense purpose, they have cards like Naturia Cliff, Naturia Cherries and Naturia Beans, while Naturia Sacred Tree can improve the deck's consistency, and Naturia Marron can recycle monsters. Their fusion monsters, Naturia Exterio and Naturia Gaia's Trio, have powerful control effects, combined with their high ATK, can be easily summoned with Miracle Synchro Fusion or the Earth, Hex Sealed Fusion, for Exterio, can be very devastating to your opponent as well. Since all Naturia monsters are Earth, cards like Giant Rat, Gigantes, Redox, Dragon Ruler of Boulders and Grand Soil the Elemental Lord can be included as well. EVILSWARM Mandragora, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card, from your hand. This card does not require to have, or lack, any monsters on your field, so it can be special summoned like Cyber Dragon, and then summon another level 4 monster for a quick XYZ summon, or vice versa. Special summon this card, then normal summon Junk Synchron, or Deep Sea Diva, use its effect to special summon a level 2 non-tuner monster, and synchro summon Mistworm. Your opponent's field can be occupied with Ojima Trio or Nightmare Archfiends, giving them 3 more monsters, and then multiple copies of this card can be special summoned to the field. Since this card can be special summoned very easily, it can be used as tribute fodder for monsters such as Chaos the Shadow Monarch. Naturia ANTJAW, when your opponent special summons a monster, you can special summon one level 3 or lower Naturia monster from your deck. Special summon this card during your opponent's turn with Naturia Sacred Tree in response to an effect that would special summon to easily search out a Naturia monster. The following cards can special summon themselves or another monster from the hand. Marauding Captain. Green Baboon, Defender of the Forest. Helosaurus. Emergency Teleport, it can special summon from the hand or deck. Advanced Ritual Art and other ritual spells. Twilight Rose Knight. The Tricky. Gortz the Emissary of Darkness. The Fiend Megacyber. Cyber Dragon. Oracle of the Sun. Vice Dragon. Naturia Bamboo Shoot, if this card is tribute summoned by tributing a Naturia monster, while this card remains face up on the field, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards. Naturia Cherries and Naturia Cliff are perfect for bringing this card out, because not only do they special summon on any kind of destruction your opponent employs, but they thin the deck as well, making it easier to draw Bamboo Shoot if you don't already have it. With Naturia Cliff and all 3 Naturia Cherries in your deck, you can survive 5 full attacks from your opponent's monsters and still have a monster left to tribute for your bamboo shoot. With a little luck, gain a first turn spell/trap lockdown with this and Naturia Pineapple. During standby phase, activate hand destruction from your hand, sending Naturia Pineapple to the graveyard, then special summon it from there during that same standby phase. Then tribute summon this card. Use Naturia like Naturia Butterfly and Naturia Beans, they have a great chance of surviving during an opponent's turn, and you can tribute them to summon this card. Usually if your opponent starts first, it will be easier for you to summon this card because you can summon Naturia COSMOBEET during an opponent's turn, your opponent can't attack during the first turn. Combine Angel 07 and Destiny Hero, Plasma to prevent your opponent from using any effect. Equip Rare Gold Armor and any other equip card that increases ATK by 300 to Angel 07 and your opponent cannot escape this lockdown. Use Safe Zone on this card for a deadly combo that only can be stopped by monster cards that do not target this card or monster cards that can destroy spells/traps like Breaker the Magical Warrior. Use Fiendish Chain to prevent effects of opponent monsters. Forbidden Chalice is an excellent card to prevent and cancel effects of flip monsters during battle step like Ryko, Lightsworn Hunter. To lock high-level monsters you can use Grave of the Super Ancient Organism to prevent attacks and effects of popular monsters like Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, Dark Armed Dragon, Master Hyperion, etc. Use this card with Cactus Bouncer and Mask of Restrict to prevent your opponent from special summoning, tribute summoning, and activating spell or trap cards. Combo this card with cards that increase its ATK like Axe of Despair to prevent it from being destroyed by battle easily. Use Thorn of Malice to increase this card's attack, and use the piercing effect to inflict a lot of damage to your opponent every turn. On top of that, their monster can't be destroyed by battle, so this can be repeated until the opponent loses all his life points. Use cards that protect from monster effects like Divine Wrath or just prevent your opponent's summons with Solemn Judgment and Polynosis to avoid your opponent's monster's effects from destroying or bouncing this card. Use Wall of Thorns to protect this card against monster with higher ATK, or to keep Naturia plant type monsters alive during your opponent's turn and tribute it to summon this card. Use Mist Body to protect this card from stronger monsters. Scrap Iron Scarecrows can stop opponents' attacks very well. This will keep this card safe from most attacks. Use this card with Scapegoat and Tyrant's Tirade to prevent your opponent from using mostly any effect. Because this card prevents card activation upon successful summon, cards like Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning can negate the summon and prevent a lock. Monster effects can destroy or bounce this card will remove the block on spell and trap cards. This also will make its return difficult due to it needing to be tribute summoned. Other monster effects can also affect this card. Blackwing, Gale the Whirlwind will be able to take this card out on its own due to its effect of reducing monsters' attack points. Cyber Dragon and Effect Veiler are easy ways to stop this card. Monsters that tribute your opponent's monster, such as Lava Golem and Volcanic Queen, can get rid of this card easily, since tributing cannot be chained to or be negated. To counter a lockdown deck using this card, add level 4 or below monsters that have high original ATK, such as Chainsaw Insect or Goblin Attack Force. Gene Warped Werewolf can also be used, although it will also destroy itself. Use this card with Destiny Hero, Plasma to create a lockdown. This is a little unwieldy, but get this on the field, then use double summon to normal summon Phantom Skyblaster, then sacrifice it and the 2 tokens to play Destiny Hero, Plasma and lockdown effects. Follow up with Royal Oppression to have a nearly full lockdown. Not a lot of decks in today's meta can normal summon powerful monsters without special summoning first. Combine this with Royal Oppression to severely hurt most decks by taking away both their spells and traps and their special summons. Usually when you hit this point you're not worried about getting anything big out anymore, just about slowly whittling their life points down to 0. Naturia Beans, once per turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. When this face-up card is selected as an attack target, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Combine this card with Battle Mania and Heart of Clear Water to inflict massive damage, but be sure that this is the only monster on your side of the field and keep it in defense position. This card would work very well with a face-up Naturia Mosquito, to force your opponent to attack this card. Add Half Shut and Battle Mania to this combination to ensure heavy battle, and effect, damage to your opponent. Additionally, since under the effect of Naturia Mosquito, battle damage with this card is dealt to your opponent, use Naturia Beans to attack an opponent's powerful monster. Your Naturia Beans won't be destroyed, due to its own effect, and your opponent loses a large amount of life points, and will continue to do so. Combine with the Dark Door to prevent direct attack/battle damage and make Naturia Beans indestructible, by battle. It also has a similar effect to Gyroid, so combining both in a deck would emphasize the effect. Combine this card's effect with Stronghold Guardian, as your opponent will likely suffer through attacking this card twice if they feel assured of its destruction. This card will likely survive and cost your opponent another 1000 life points to destroy in their next turn. Note, this effect can be compounded through the use of Book of Eclipse, resetting this card's effect before damage calculation, but after 500 damage has been inflicted. Naturia Beetle, switch the original ATK and DEF of this card each time a spell card is activated. Keep quick play spell cards handy, especially Shrink, to manipulate this card's stats during your opponent's turn. Naturia Butterfly, once per turn, when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard and negate that attack. This card combos with Naturia Marron to create advantage. Use this card to create a lockdown with the Dark Door. Naturia Cherries, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard by your opponent's card, including by battle, card effect, or by being destroyed, you can special summon up to 2 Naturia Cherries from your deck in face-down defense position. In combination with a face-up Naturia Mosquito and Naturia Cliff, 2 Naturia Cliffs in your deck and 3 Naturia Cherries in your deck, you can attack an opponent's monster with higher ATK points. This will reverse the battle damage you take and be able to special summon another Naturia Cliff. Repeat this process until you use the last Naturia Cliff in your deck. Attack again with Naturia Cliff and special summon a Naturia Cherries from your deck. Have Naturia Cherries to attack, special summoning 2 more Naturia Cherries from your deck. By then, you would have thinned your deck by 5 cards and inflicted a huge amount of battle damage to your opponent. If this card gets destroyed and you special summon 2 of these, play Instant Fusion next turn and get out a Carbonella Warrior. Tune it and a Cherry together for Naturia Beast, then tune Beast and the other Cherry together for Naturia Barkion. Finally, play Miracle Synchro Fusion, and banish Barkion and Beast to bring out Naturia Exterio. If this card is destroyed and you special summon 2 of these, you can tribute one of them to bring Naturia Bambushoot. Being a level 1 plant tuner monster with powerful deck thinning and swarming abilities, this card is an obvious choice for any Gigavice deck. Just like Copy Plant and Spore, it can be summoned with GigaPlant's effect and trigger the Power Tool Dragon, Supervise Loop. You can also use its self-swarming ability to get tributes for GigaPlant's summoning, or better yet, use them with Super Solar Nutrient to summon Lone Fire Blossom and bring out GigaPlant from the deck, without even using your normal summon for the turn. Use this card with either Reborn Tengu or Phantom Skyblaster for an easy and efficient method of gaining field presence. With Reborn Tengu, you can summon TG. Hyper Librarian and Ally of Justice Catastor, drawing 1 card, gaining threat elimination capability, and summoning the last copy of Reborn Tengu. This sets up Pot of Avarice quite nicely, allowing you to summon even more copies of Reborn Tengus. With Phantom Skyblaster, you can summon TG. Hyper Librarian and Mistworm, drawing 1 card, and gaining field/hand advantage. Naturia Cliff, when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Naturia monster from your deck to your side of the field in face-up attack position. In combination with a face-up Naturia Mosquito and this card, 2 Naturia Cliffs in your deck and 3 Naturia Cherries in your deck, you can attack an opponent's monster with higher ATK points. This will reverse the battle damage you take and be able to special summon another Naturia Cliff. Repeat this process until you use the last Naturia Cliff in your deck. Attack again with Naturia Cliff and special summon a Naturia Cherries from your deck. Have Naturia Cherries to attack, special summoning 2 more Naturia Cherries from your deck. By then, you would have thinned your deck by 5 cards and inflicted a huge amount of battle damage to your opponent. Naturia COSMOBEET, when your opponent normal summons or sets a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can use this card with Naturia ANTJAW and Urgent Tuning. You can special summon this card in defense position to defend from your opponent's attack. If you keep this card after special summoning, you can tribute it for Naturia Bamboo Shoot the next turn. You can use Wall of Thorns from be sure that Naturia COSMOBEET survive before your turn. This card can easily be summoned with Inferno Reckless Summon, as it is not necessary to activate the effect of Naturia COSMOBEET if your opponent sets a monster. Naturia Dragonfly, this card cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster that has 2000 or more ATK. This card gains 200 ATK for each Naturia monster in your graveyard. This card can benefit greatly from the effect of Naturia Beast, which can flood the graveyard with cards from your deck. Summon this with your third Naturia Cliff and get an instant 1800 ATK monster. A good way to build up ATK for this card is with Naturia Cherries. Naturia Eggplant, when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can select one Naturia monster in your graveyard, except Naturia Eggplant, and add it to your hand. If recycled, this card can become a good source of fodder for Naturia Mantis. Use it to retrieve Naturia Rock, Naturia COSMOBEET or Naturia Hydrangea. Revive this card with Limit Reverse. You'll get the effect whether Eggplant or Limit Reverse is destroyed, or you can switch it to defense position to activate it. You can use this card to clear Naturia monsters that aren't beast or plant type out of your graveyard, allowing you to use the effect of Naturia Pineapple. When your Naturia White Oak is targeted during your turn, tribute it to special summon this monster and Naturia Cliff. During the end phase, use Cliff and Eggplant to special summon Naturia Mantis and add a Naturia monster from your graveyard to your hand, respectively. You'll be ready to use the effect of Mantis. Naturia FRUITFLY, all face-up monsters your opponent controls lose 300 ATK and DEF for each face-up Naturia monster you control. Once per turn, you can select one face-up monster your opponent controls with 0 DEF, and take control of it until the end phase. Use Micro Ray or Curse of Anubis to reduce a monster's DEF to 0 for this card's effect. Use together with Al-Lumiraj to easily lower most high-level monsters to 0 DEF. This card can steal some mighty zombies from your opponent like Zombie Master or Revived King Hade, and, if you control Zombie Master, you may use its effect to revive yet another zombie to your side of the field. This card would be a good side deck card against the Steel Swarm archetype. This card would be a good supplement for an anti-meta deck based around King Tiger Wanghu. This card works extremely well against a Yubel deck. Send this card to the graveyard by the effect of Naturia MARRON, or other card sending effects, then special summon it with Limit Reverse. Then use Inferno Reckless Summon. Because their effects stack, all of your opponent's monsters will lose 2700 DEF, meaning you can take control of virtually any monster on your opponent's field until you don't have any other monster card zone. In addition, because this card's effect only affects the opponent's monsters, the controlled monster's ATK would return for you to attack with, while your opponent monster's, if there are any left, still be heavily weakened. Naturia Guardian, when your opponent normal summons a monster, this card gains 300 ATK until the end phase. Against gadgets deck that normal summon multiple times each turn. Naturia Horneedle, when your opponent special summons a monster, you can tribute one face-up Naturia monster you control, except this card, to destroy the special summoned monster. Naturia Hydrangea. If the effect of a Naturia monster you control was activated during this turn, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you can special summon one of this card, you can summon any number of this card, as the activation condition of each copy will be met simultaneously. Combine this card with Naturia COSMOBEET and Urgent Tuning to synchro summon a level 7 synchro monster during your opponent's turn. Naturia Ladybug. When you synchro summon a Naturia synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. During your main phase, you can tribute this card to select one face-up Naturia monster you control. It gains 1000 ATK until the end phase. Send this card to the graveyard by the effect of EXTERIO'S Fang to negate a spell/trap or as a cost for Naturia Mantis to destroy a monster, and synchro summon to get it back. Play 1 for 1 for this card, use Worm Bait to summon 2 worm tokens, then use another Worm Bait on a token. Tribute this card for Naturia Bamboo Shoot and tribute the worm tokens to summon Destiny Hero, Plasma so you can seal your opponent's options. Royal Oppression will also help. Naturia Mantis. When your opponent normal summons a monster, you can send one Naturia monster from your hand to the graveyard to destroy that monster. Using Naturia Forest along with cards which negate activations such as Divine Wrath and Dark Bribe is an effective way for you maintain Naturia monsters in your hand for the use of the effect of this card. When your Naturia White Oak is targeted, use it to special summon Naturia Cliff and Naturia Eggplant. When they're both destroyed in the end phase, you can special summon this card and add a Naturia monster back to your hand. Verdant Sanctuary can be used to turn destroyed insects into fuel for the effect. You will generally need only one Naturia monster per turn for this card's effect. If you can reuse the effect of Naturia Eggplant, you can keep a steady stream of fuel for this card. Combine this card with Royal Oppression to absolutely cease the normal and special summon of your opponent's monsters, as long as you have enough life points and Naturia monsters to discard. Note that your opponent will still be able to set Naturia Marron. When this card is normal summoned, you can send one Naturia monster from your deck to the graveyard. Once per turn, you can target 2 Naturia monsters in your graveyard, shuffle both those targets into the deck, then draw one card. Use this card to dump Naturia Pineapple quicker and recycle others. Dump Naturia Ladybug with this, then synchro summon a Naturia monster for a temporary ATK boost. Use this card in conjunction with Spiritual Earth Art, Kurogane. Combine this card with Mark of the Rose by sending a Naturia plant type monster from your deck to the graveyard. Naturia Mosquito. While you control another face-up Naturia monster, your opponent cannot select this card as an attack target. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving a face-up Naturia monster you control, except this card. Verdant Sanctuary can be used to add a Naturia Mosquito to your hand, in case a Naturia Mosquito or other level 1 insect on your side of the field is destroyed. This card is useful with Naturia Beans face up on the field. Since Naturia Beans cannot be destroyed in battle once per turn, it will take, at least, 2 attacks to destroy it, so this card cannot be attacked for those first 2 attacks. This card can be very useful for ramming Naturia Cliff into large opponent monsters, as each time a Cliff is sent to grave, you can special summon another copy, potentially repeating this 3 times and dealing significant damage to your opponent, in addition to both thinning and searching your own deck. Note, this will also power up Naturia Dragonfly. In combination with a face-up Naturia Mosquito and Naturia Cliff, 2 Naturia Cliffs in your deck and 3 Naturia Cherries in your deck, you can attack an opponent's monster with higher ATK points. This will reverse the battle damage you take and be able to special summon another Naturia Cliff. Repeat this process until you use the last Naturia Cliff in your deck. Attack again with Naturia Cliff and special summon a Naturia Cherries from your deck. Have Naturia Cherries to attack, special summoning 2 more Naturia Cherries from your deck. By then, you would have thinned your deck by 5 cards and inflicted a huge amount of battle damage to your opponent. If your opponent controls a monster with 3150 ATK or more, you can OTK using this method. If special summoned by the effect of Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, this card and its duplicate create an attack lock similar to that of Marauding Captain, provided that you control no non-Naturia or face-down monsters. If two Naturia mosquitoes are played together, this also creates a lock. Spiritual Forest is great for keeping your plant and beast Naturia monsters alive and abusing this effect. Such cards that can take advantage of this combo are Naturia Bamboo Shoot, Naturia COSMOBEET, Naturia ROSEWHIPL, Naturia Vein, Naturia Beast and Naturia EXTERIO'S. Naturia Pineapple, all face-up monsters you control are treated as plant type. During your standby phase, if you do not control a face-up Naturia Pineapple, and have no monsters in your graveyard except plant or beast type, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. You must not control any spell or trap cards to activate and resolve this effect. Only use this card in a Naturia plant variant. This card does not help a main Naturia deck build. You can use this card with Naturia MARRON. Normal summon Naturia MARRON and send Naturia Pineapple to the graveyard. With a Naturia Bamboo Shoot in hand, you can special summon Naturia Pineapple next turn, provided you control no spell/trap cards, and then tribute it for a Naturia Bamboo Shoot. This card works very well with Snafuse. It changes your monsters into plants, which allows Snafuse to be special summoned when they are destroyed, and it can use them for its effect. Use Koaki Myra Graveros to send this card to the graveyard, then special summon it during that same standby phase. Monster Gate, Reasoning, Foolish Burial and Magical Merchant can help send this card to the graveyard. This card works well with Spiritual Earth Art, Kurogane, the second effect of enemy controller, Naturia Vein, Naturia Horneedle, Naturia Sunflower and single tribute monsters like Naturia Bamboo Shoot. All of these allow for great potential at gaining card advantage. With a little luck, gain a first turn spell/trap lockdown with this and Naturia Bamboo Shoot. During standby phase, activate Hand Destruction from your hand, sending this card to the graveyard, then special summon it from there still during the standby phase. Then tribute summon Naturia Bamboo Shoot. If you use the second effect of enemy controller and you normal summon Lone Fire Blossom, you can tribute the taken monster for another plant type monster, since it will be treated as a plant type monster. This could set up plays with other Naturia plant monsters, Plant Tuners, EGGPLANT, Titanial, Princess of Camellias, etc. This card can be used to weaken Light and Darkness Dragon. Continuously try to special summon Naturia Pineapple, and each time it fails, Light and Darkness Dragon loses 500 ATK. You can use this card as easy tribute for Infernal Dragon, since Infernal Dragon will destroy it and revive itself, and this card will revive on your next turn. This card can actually be ran in conjunction with Treeborn Frog for 2 free tributes per standby phase. Special summon Treeborn Frog first and then you can special summon Naturia Pineapple, as there will no longer be any non-plant/beast monsters in the graveyard. Note that this strategy does not work as well with more than a single Treeborn Frog in deck. This card makes all of your monsters eligible for cards like Wall of Thorns, Super Solar Nutrient and Pollinosis. Monsters with effects that activate when they are destroyed can take advantage of Fragrance Storm. Monsters with high attack can gain piercing ability with Thorn of Malice. Use Painful Choice to send this card to the graveyard. Naturia Pumpkin, when this card is normal summoned, if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon one Naturia monster from your hand. Use this card to summon high-level Naturia monsters without tribute like Naturia Stag Beetle or Naturia Hydrangea. You can perform a massive swarm with this card and 3 Naturia Hydrangea. First normal summon this card while your opponent controls a monster. Activate this card's effect and summon a Naturia Hydrangea from your hand. Since you activated Naturia Pumpkin's effect this turn, this will allow you to special summon 2 more Naturia Hydrangea from your hand. The above combo works even better if you have 3 Hydrangea in hand along with another Naturia monster, as you can summon the other monster first and then follow up with the 3 Hydrangea from your hand. This card can create a OTK if you have this card, 3 Naturia Hydrangea, and any Naturia monster with 900 or more ATK in hand. First summon this monster while your opponent controls at least one monster. Activate its effect and summon the 900 ATK or greater Naturia monster from your hand. Special summon the 3 Naturia Hydrangea in attack position. Remove your opponent's monster, S, with something like Smashing Ground and attack for game. You can special summon Naturia Horneedle or Naturia Mantis to prevent your opponent's special summon or normal summon, respectively. When you summon this card and resolve its effect, you can activate Inferno Reckless Summon to get 3 monsters instead of only 1. Good options would be Naturia Mosquito, so you can ram 2 Naturia Mosquito and Naturia Pumpkin against the highest ATK monster your opponent controls for massive damage, or Naturia Fruitfly, to steal pretty much anything. Use this card's effect to special summon a level 4 Naturia monster for an easy rank 4 XYZ summon. Naturia Ragweed, when your opponent draws a card, S, except during the draw phase, you can send this face-up card you control to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. Use this card with Dark Bribe. When you negate trap with the Dark Bribe, your opponent draw 1 card, you can tribute this card to draw 2 cards. When responding to the effect of Morphing Jar, from either you or your opponent, this card will allow you to draw 7 cards while your opponent only gets to draw 5. Naturia Rock, when a trap card is activated, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. Good trap cards to use in the special summoning of this card are Jar of Greed and Reckless Greed. Both cards make for extra draws and can be used on your own turn, potentially getting you a 1-turn tribute monster. This monster combos well with Naturia Hydrangea. When this card is special summoned, Hydrangea special summons itself as well. Naturia ROSEWHIPL, your opponent can only activate 1 spell/trap card per turn. Use with Naturia Barkion and Naturia Beast so that you can stop your opponent from using spell cards and trap cards without using their effects over and over again and destroying your deck and your graveyard. Alternatively, you can use Naturia Exterio to minimize the cost to both deck and graveyard while ensuring security against both spells and traps at the same time. Equip this card with Heart of Clear Water or Mist Body to keep it from getting destroyed and Spirit Barrier from losing life points. Keep a few Dark Bribes handy so as to keep your cards from being destroyed. Revive this card with Limit Reverse if your opponent tries to activate a second spell/trap card during their turn, and keep Spirit Barrier out as well. Send this card to the graveyard with the effect of Naturia MARRON so you can special summon it with Crane, or another revival card, for an instant Naturia Barkion or Melody of the Trees. Normal summon this card when you have a Dark Verger in your graveyard. When Dark Verger is special summoned, you will have the required materials for Naturia Beast. Naturia Spiderfang, this card cannot declare an attack unless your opponent activated a spell, trap, spell/trap effect or monster effect this turn. This card works well with Skill Drain. This card could be used with Bait Doll. You can summon this card on your first turn. The high ATK gives a good chance it will not be destroyed. Then summon Naturia Pumpkin, use its effect to summon Naturia Vane or Naturia Cherries to synchro summon Naturia Leodrake with 3000 ATK in 2 turns. Naturia Stag Beetle, once per turn, during the battle step or damage step of this card's attack, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can select 1 Naturia monster in your graveyard. Special summon that monster from the graveyard. If you play this in a set, you can special summon them 1 at a time to have a never-ending amount of Naturia Stag Beetle and other Naturia monsters. This card becomes handy when you have Naturia Spiderfang or Naturia Cliff in your graveyard. Naturia Stinkbug, when a face-up Naturia monster you control is selected as an attack target, you can send this face-up card you control to the graveyard to negate that attack and end the battle phase. Combine with Naturia ANTJAW to block OTKs. You can combine this card with EGGPLANT, Naturia Bamboo Shoot and Rare Gold Armor to keep ending your opponent's battle phase each turn. Use Limit Reverse to revive it if your opponent attacks again. Naturia Strawberry, once per turn, when your opponent normal or special summons a monster, target one of those monsters, this card gains 100 ATK x the level of that monster, until the end phase. Use Mystic Walk with this card to gain life points. This card becomes tough for unboosted monsters to break when used alongside Burden of the Mighty. Combine this card with the effect of Bone Temple Block in order to use its effect efficiently during your own turn. Naturia Sunflower, you can tribute this card and one Naturia monster to negate the activation of an effect monster your opponent controls, and destroy it. You can use Inferno Reckless Summon to get more Naturia monsters for this card's effect. Naturia Tulip, each time your opponent activates a spell or trap card, all face-up Naturia monster, you control gain 500 ATK until the end phase. If you have 2 tulips, your Naturias will power up by 1000 for each card your opponent activates, making them fairly difficult to destroy. Having Gaia power with this card can make your field quickly overwhelming. Naturia Vein, you can tribute this card and one Naturia monster to negate the activation of your opponent's spell or trap card, and destroy it. You can use Inferno Reckless Summon to get more Naturia monsters for this card's effect. Naturia White Oak, when this card is targeted by an opponent's card effect, you can send this face-up card you control to the graveyard to special summon 2 level 4 or lower Naturia monsters from your deck. They cannot declare an attack, and are destroyed during your end phase. Attack with this card, and if your opponent tries to retaliate by targeting this card, activate its effect, then activate Urgent Tuning to synchro summon using the summoned monsters. Use this card's effect to special summon 2 Naturia Cliff so you keep 2 monsters even after its effect resolves. Use this card's effect to special summon 2 Naturia monsters for an easy XYZ summon of rank 2, 3, or 4. Shaddol Beast, flip, you can draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can draw 1 card. You can only use 1 Shaddol Beast effect per turn, and only once that turn. This card's flip effect works well with Dark World and Fabled cards. Leo, the Keeper of the Sacred Tree, 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. Cannot be targeted by an opponent's card effects, except during your main phase 2. Use the effect of Dragard to special summon Labradorite Dragon from the graveyard. In a Malefic deck, use Malefic Parallel Gear and any level 8 Malefic monster. In a Steel Swarm deck, normal summon Masked Chameleon and special summon Steel Swarm Moth from the graveyard. In an The Agent deck, normal summon the Agent of Mystery, Earth, and use its effect to add an agent to your hand, then banish that monster you search to special summon Master Hyperion. In an Hieratic deck, normal summon Masked Chameleon and special summon Hieratic Seal of the Dragon King. In a Plant deck, this card can be synchro summoned by using the effect of Spore, depending on the levels of the plant type monsters you control or in your graveyard. This card can be used in conjunction with Terminal World to ensure it can't be targeted by any effects. This card gains extra protection from destruction and target effects with Mound of the Bound Creator. This card is a prime candidate to be equipped with Metal Silver Armor. Tries Hula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, Uria, the Sylvan High Arbiter, Medal Queen Tiramisu, Erebus the Underworld Monarch, Artifact Moraltach etc. can be used to handle this card without targeting it. Naturia Barkion, 1 Earth Tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Earth monsters. During either player's turn, when a trap card is activated, you can banish 2 cards from your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. This card must be face up on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. Combine this card with Naturia Beast to almost completely shut down your opponent by restricting their spell and trap options. The only things you need to worry about are counter trap cards like Divine Wrath and effect monsters, so having cards like Counter and your own Divine Wrath will keep this lockout a little longer. Karakuri and X-Saber monsters can summon easy this card, because they are all Earth attribute. Though it's a risky move, Naturia Sunflower can help in this situation. If you can manage it, Destiny Hero, Plasma will also help you. A fast way to bring this card out is to summon Marauding Captain, and use its effect to special summon Toon Warrior. If your deck features level 3 Earth Tuners, you can also use Spell Striker to summon this card quickly. In a 6 Samurai deck, summon Kage Musha of the 6 Samurai and immediately summon Legendary 6 Samurai, Kaizen and instantly Synchro Summon. In a Yangzing deck, when you have the chance of summoning 2 Yangzings from the deck at once, special summon Zefraxi, Treasure of the Yangzing and Bayan, Earth of the Yangzing, then use the effect of Zefraxi to turn Bayan into a tuner. You can Synchro Summon this card easily by using a Rescue Cat to summon an X-Saber Airbellum and a level 3 Earth Beast like the Wombat or XX-Saber Dark Soul. Naturia Beast, 1 Earth Tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Earth monsters. During either player's turn, when a spell card is activated, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. This card must be face up on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. To easily summon this card alongside Stardust Spark Dragon and Naturia Barkion, all you need in your initial first hand are 2 emergency teleports and 1 overdrive teleporter. Activate the first emergency teleport to special summon Psychic Commander from your deck. Tribute Psychic Commander to summon overdrive teleporter and activate its effect, special summoning 2 hushed Psychic Clerics. Activate the second emergency teleport and special summon a Esper Girl from your deck. Activate the effect of Cleric, discarding any card in your hand and select Psychic Commander as your target. Tune Esper Girl and the first Cleric to Synchro Summon Naturia Beast. Activates the effect of the first Cleric to bringing back the banished Psychic Commander. Activate the effect of the second Cleric to discard another card from your hand and select Esper Girl. Tune Psychic Commander with the Cleric and special summon Naturia Barkion. The effect of Cleric activates, special summoning the banished Esper Girl. The effect of Esper Girl activates, banishing the top card of your deck face down. Tune Esper Girl with Overdrive Teleporter and special summon Stardust Spark Dragon. The effect of Esper Girl activates, adding the banished face down card to your hand. You now have Stardust Spark Dragon, Naturia Beast, Naturia Barkion and 2 cards left in your hand. Combine this card with Royal Decree to completely shut down your opponent's ability to activate spell or trap cards. Use Safe Zone with this card to be able to maintain this card on the field longer and negate all spell cards that your opponent activates. This card works very well with Quillbolt Hedgehog decks. Have 1 Quillbolt in the graveyard and summon X-Saber Airbellum or Psychic Commander to special summon Quillbolt, then Synchro Summon Naturia Beast or another level 5 Synchro monster. You can summon Carbonilla Warrior by using Instant Fusion, then use Naturia Cherries to summon this card. Alternate, if you have an Earth attribute in the graveyard, you can special summon Gigantes instead of using the above strategy, following the Synchro Summon. Combine this card's effect with Naturia Barkion to almost totally shut down the opponent's effects. The cost for using this card's effect, sending cards to the graveyard, will provide fodder for the cost of Barkion. Use with Recycle to help offset the cost of 2 cards from your deck each time you use this card's effect. You can set a Super Nimble Mega Hamster and when it is flipped, special summon a Snifuse or a Key Mouse. Then, you can Synchro Summon for this card. This card can be summoned easily in a Scrap deck by using a combination of Scrap Beast and Scrap Searcher. This card can be summoned easily in an X-Saber deck by using X-Saber Pashuol and XX-Saber Dark Soul. In a deck that combines X-Saber monsters with Lightsworn monsters, this card can be easily summoned by using X-Sabers as synchro material, and its mill effect will benefit both archetypes. The above strategy can also be used in any deck that combines Lightsworns with Earth monsters. This card is easy to summon in combination with Rescue Cat, summon X-Saber Airbellum and a level 2 beast type monster like Sea Koala or Nimble Momonga. You can use this in a stun, anti-meta, gadget deck, by using Glow Up Bulb and any of the gadgets. You can use this in a stun, anti-meta, lock Naturia deck, by using Spiritual Forest, Glow Up Bulb, Naturia Forest, Naturia Bamboo Shoot and other of the beast or plants control. Naturia Pineapple plus X Saber Air Bellum. Naturia Exterio, Naturia Beast plus Naturia Barkion. A fusion summon of this card can only be conducted with the above fusion material monsters. While this card is face up on the field, you can negate the activation of a spell/trap card, and destroy it, by removing from play one card from your graveyard, then sending the top card of your deck to the graveyard. This card normally needs no less than 5 cards to summon, 7 if you count the synchro monsters that are the fusion materials. This card can be special summoned by the effect of the Earth, Hex Sealed Fusion. Due to being unable to use cards like Elemental Hero Prisma or Future Fusion, another option would be the standard use of Summoner of Illusions with either Interdimensional Matter Transporter, or any similar cards such as Dimension Hole, or Book of Moon. However, there is a strict one-turn timing that must be achieved that is less lenient than the first method. Of note is the fact that neither method constitutes a proper fusion summon. If using Miracle Synchro Fusion, Gale Dogra can send both of the Naturia Synchros to the graveyard from the extra deck, albeit at the high cost of 6,000 life points. This is the fastest way to fusion summon, but is expensive. One can try summoning one of the Naturia Synchros and then using Gale Dogra's effect once, requiring more cards but costing 3,000 life points less. An alternative, less costly way of using Miracle Synchro Fusion is to use Zaborg the Mega Monarch to send multiple copies of Naturia Beast and Naturia Barkion. With this method, you can use Miracle Synchro Fusion to summon up to 3 copies of Naturia Exterio if your opponent happens to be able to destroy it and send vital cards from your opponent's extra deck to the graveyard. With Naturia Barkion and Naturia Beast on the field and Super Polymerization in hand, it is possible to deal a total 7,500 damage. While the point of these monsters is to prevent the opponent from activating certain cards, the sheer damage output is helpful as well as providing at least one card in the graveyard that can be removed without worry. If using Naturia Cherries, have it destroyed in order to summon 2 more. Play Instant Fusion to bring out Carbonilla Warrior, then tune it and a Naturia Cherries to bring out Naturia Beast. Then, tune the other Naturia Cherries and Naturia Beast to bring out Naturia Barkion. Finally, play Miracle Synchro Fusion and remove both Naturia Beast and Naturia Barkion to bring out this card. Combo this card with Mound of the Bound Creator, so that even effect monsters are unable to take it down. Remember that the opponent can still destroy Mound of the Bound Creator with monster effects, such as Lila, Lightsworn Sorceress, or take down Exterio with non-targeting monster effects that do not actually destroy monsters, such as Neospatian Grand Mole. You can use the Earth, Hex Sealed Fusion, along with either one of Naturia Beast or Naturia Barkion, to special summon this card. Activate Obedience Schooled, bringing out 3 monsters whose combined levels total 5, one of which is a tuner monster. Synchro summon Naturia Beast, then normal summon the Earth, Hex Sealed Fusion to easily bring out this card. You can use Horn of the Phantom Beast to increase its attack and draw 1 card each time it destroys a monster by battle. Spiritual Forest can help protect this card. Metamorphosis can be used on Exodius the Ultimate Forbidden Lord, Tragoedia, or Metal Reflect Slime to special summon this card. One of the fastest ways to summon this card is to normal summon Rescue Cat, use its effect to special summon Keymouse and X Saber Air Bellum. Then, activate Instant Fusion to special summon Fusionist, Synchro summon Naturia Barkion. Afterwards, remove from play either X Saber Air Bellum or Fusionist to special summon Gigantes, Synchro summon Naturia Beast. Lastly, activate Polymerization. The summon required only 4 cards. This card can be special summoned via Cyberstein to virtually lock away the opponent's spells and traps. Naturia Gaia's Trio, 2 Earth Synchro monsters. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets exactly one card on the field, and no other cards, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. You can use Miracle Synchro Fusion to fusion summon this monster by banishing the fusion materials from your graveyard. Use this card in a X-Saber deck with at least one Miracle Synchro Fusion, since all X-Saber Synchro monsters are Earth monsters. You can use Naturia Forest to replace the card you discarded with a level 3 or lower Naturia monster, allowing you to discard for this effect without depleting your hand. Naturia Land was 1 Earth Tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Earth monsters. While this card is face up on the field, you can send one spell card from your hand to the graveyard to negate the activation of an effect monster's effect, and destroy that effect monster. This card can be used against effect monsters whose effect activates anywhere, e.g. Honest or Giant Rat. Use this card to negate the effects of Gladiator Beasts for a major lockdown. Use this card with Naturia Bamboo Shoot, Naturia Exterio or Naturia Barkion and Naturia Beast to create a total lockdown. However, this works only if you have enough spell cards in your hand. One way to ensure that you have a spell card in your hand is to use Iron Core of Koaki Mairu, Magical Blast or Spirit Burner. You can use this card in the Koaki Mairu archetype, as most of the Koaki Mairu monsters are Earth, and Iron Core of Koaki Mairu can be returned to the hand during the draw phase. Can also be used nicely in an Iron Chain deck, as you can easily summon it using Iron Chain Repairman to summon Iron Chain Coil from the graveyard for an instant synchro summon. Naturia Lea Drake, 1 Earth Tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Earth monsters. Synchro summon this card with Green Baboon, Defender of the Forest and Naturia COSMOBEET. Green Baboon is easily special summoned, and if it is special summoned from your hand while you control Naturia ANTJAW, its effect will search out and special summon the COSMOBEET, resulting in an easy synchro summon. If Naturia Lea Drake is destroyed outside of the battle phase, you can special summon Green Baboon, Defender of the Forest to replace it. Also, you can synchro summon this card with Scrap Golem and Scrap Beast. Summon Golem and then special summon a beast in the graveyard with the effect of Golem, then synchro summon this card. Wild Nature's Release can be handy with this card, raising its ATK to 4800. 6 Samurai can synchro summon this card by using Elder of the 6 Samurai, Cage Musha of the 6 Samurai and Legendary 6 Samurai, Kaizen. Ritual Beast ULTI-GALAPELIOCE, 1 Ritual Beast ULTI-Monster plus 1 Ritual Beast Tamer Monster plus 1 Spiritual Beast Monster. Must be special summoned, from your extra deck, by banishing the above cards you control, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. You do not use polymerization. If summoned this way, this card gains this effect. During either player's turn, when a spell/trap card, or monster effect, is activated, you can banish one Ritual Beast card from your hand, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Instead of Contact Fusion, you can special summon this card more easily using the effect of Ritual Beast Spawned. However, if you summon this card that way, you cannot use its negating effect. You can utilize Ritual Beast ULTI-Kanahawk Search Loop combo to provide banish fodder for this card's negation effect. You can banish this card with the effect of Spiritual Beast Rampangu in order to send any of the Ritual Beast Tamer monsters to the graveyard. BARKION'S Bark, activate only if you control a face-up Naturia monster. Your opponent cannot activate trap cards this turn. Landoise's Luminous Moss, activate only if you control a face-up Naturia monster. The opponent's effect monsters cannot activate their effects this turn. This card serves as an effective counter to recruiters like Mystic Tomato, ATK boosters like Honest, and other cards like Cyber Valley. Lea Drake's main, select one face-up Naturia monster you control. Its ATK becomes 3000, and its effects are negated, until the end phase. This card works especially well with Naturia monsters whose effects only help special summon them, such as Naturia Rock or Naturia COSMOBEET. Naturia Forest, If you negate the activation of a card your opponent controls, you can add one level 3 or lower Naturia monster from your deck to your hand. Since it does not specify that Naturia cards must be used, you can use it with counter trap cards like Dark Bribe and Solemn Judgment. You can use Malfunction and then search for Naturia Rock. When your opponent summons a low-powered tuner and you negate an attempt to summon Synchro material, search for Naturia Fruitfly and steal the tuner on your next turn, then Synchro. Use this card to supply Naturia Mantis with a continuous stream of fodder. EXTERIO'S Fang, activate only if you control a face-up Naturia monster and have at least one card in your hand. Negate the activation of an opponent's spell/trap card and destroy it. Then, send one card from your hand to the graveyard. Use Naturia Forest to compensate for this card's discard effect, and Pot of Avarice to refill your hand. Naturia Sacred Tree, if this card is sent to the graveyard, add one Naturia card from your deck to your hand, except Naturia Sacred Tree. You can only use one of the following effects of Naturia Sacred Tree per turn, and only once that turn. You can tribute one Earth Insect type monster, special summon one level 4 or lower Earth Plant type monster from your deck. You can tribute one Earth Plant type monster, special summon one level 4 or lower Earth Insect type monster from your deck. While obviously good in a Naturia deck, this can also be used in a Trap Tricks deck as they are a combination of Earth Insect and Plant, as well. This card doesn't need to be sent from the field in order to search a Naturia card. You can send it from the deck with cards like Foolish Burial Goods. Variants. Pure Naturia. This deck centered around utilizing Naturia monsters to respond to your opponent's moves, focusing mostly on control-based approach. Naturia Mantis and Naturia Horneedle can destroy your opponent's monster upon being summoned. Naturia ANTJAW, Naturia COSMOBEET, Naturia Cherries, Naturia Cliff and Naturia Pumpkin provide swarming capabilities. Naturia Butterfly and Naturia Stinkbug can stop your opponent's attacks. Naturia Marron and Naturia Eggplant recycle your cards, and Naturia Bamboo Shoot and Naturia Rosewhip can restrict your opponent's spells and traps. Since Naturia monsters usually has low ATK, cards like Naturia Fruitfly and Gaia Power are sometimes used, to weaken your opponent's monster and strengthening your own, respectively. To increase consistency, cards like Upstart Goblin, Reckless Greed, Pot of Duality, and especially, Naturia Sacred Tree can be included as well. Naturia Plant. This build utilizes Naturia monsters along with plant-type supports such as Lonefire Blossom and Dandelion, aiming to compose locks as soon as possible with Naturia Bamboo Shoot combined with the plant princesses such as Titanial, Princess of Camellias and /or Talia, Princess of Cherry Blossoms. This deck have easy swarming capabilities thanks to Lonefire Blossom, Cherubim, Princess of Autumn Leaves, Melody of the Trees and Miracle Fertilizer, while also capable of using plant-related supports like Mark of the Rose, Pollinosis, and Queen of Thorns. Naturia Trap Tricks. This variant combine Naturia monsters along with the suite of Trap Tricks cards. Trap Tricks Murmilio and Trap Tricks Dionia are the ones commonly used to provide more control aspect to the deck in form of Trap Hole cards such as Trap Tricks Trap Hole Nightmare and Time Space Trap Hole, while also allowing access to plethora of rank 4 XYZ monsters. Naturia cards like Naturia Cliff and Naturia Cherries are commonly used to provide defensive capabilities while also provides tribute fodder for Naturia Bamboo Shoot. Naturia Sacred Tree is very integral in this deck, allowing you to get the right monster at the right time, improving this deck's consistency drastically. Naturia Stun/Anti-Meta. Focused around summoning Naturia Bamboo Shoot as soon as possible, combined with anti-meta cards such as Thunder King Ryo, Doom Caliber Knight and Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo. If combined with Majesty's Fiend and Pachycephalo or Cactus Bouncer, you can prevent your opponent from doing basically everything. Naturia Reversal OTK. This deck focusing on interactions between Naturia Mosquito along with small ATK Naturia cards such as Naturia Beans, Naturia Cherries and Naturia Cliff, to create OTK strategy in the same way as Digustos freeze in Gusto decks. To get Mosquito easier, cards like 1-for-1 and Inferno Reckless Summon can be used to provide the necessary components for completing the OTK. Weaknesses. Naturia decks, despite their capabilities of composing powerful and sturdy locks, but they're naturally slow, so faster decks usually have easy time of exterminating them before they gather the necessary components for their lock. Skill drain can single-handedly destroy this deck completely, since Naturia monsters are so heavily dependent on their monster effects, and most of them have low ATK as well that cards like King Tiger Wanghu and Deck Devastation Virus can easily prey on them. Naturia decks focusing on Naturia Bamboo Shoot also have even more challenges, since they need to protect Bamboo Shoot at all costs in order to keep their position in a duel. Effect Veil are in particularly dangerous in this aspect, since it can negate the effect of Bamboo Shoot permanently, since Bamboo Shoot will forget that it was tribute summoned with Naturia monster if its effects negated. Solemn Warning also needs to be in consideration at all times, since it can destroy Bamboo Shoot when it is summoned and possibly ruin your entire strategy. Also, it is vulnerable to monster effects and monsters that has higher than 2000 ATK, so cards like Safe Zone that can protect Bamboo Shoot from both threats are highly recommended. Dimensional Fissure, Macro Cosmos and Banisher of the Radiance can cripple this deck as well, since Naturia Cliff and Naturia Cherries cannot activate their effects if they're banished, while also rendering Naturia Marron, Naturia Eggplant and Naturia Mantis useless. Rivalry of Warlords can also prevent this deck from swarming, since Naturia monsters have different types.